My next guest is Paddy. Hello, Paddy.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Paddy's from Autocue. Now, we've mentioned before that Autocue are providing the system that we are currently using to switch all the cameras, manage the Autocue prompter system. It's managing the tally for us. It's doing the recording for us. And so some people have been surprised when I said, oh, it's an Autocue system. They go, hold a second, they make Autocues, prompters.
Yep.
They didn't realize that you could make kit like this. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, what the system is that we have here, and what's the idea behind it.
Sure. So it's a common issue I run into. We go and see customers, and it's a name that was synonymous. Obviously, people call the teleprompter an Autocue, same way that they call a Hoover, a vacuum cleaner a Hoover. We actually have a vast portfolio of products beyond the teleprompting range. We have a newsroom system that we've been producing for about 25 years. Automation systems, asset management, archive. And what you're using today is our production suite, which is actually an extension of our video server range, which is a product range we've had for probably about 5 years now. And we made a decision a couple of years ago to take the Linux video server units that we were using as part of our automation and ingest and playout systems and turn them into standalone video servers. So you could use them either with somebody else's automation system, didn't need to be an Autocue product, or you could use a standalone video server as either a VTR replacement or as a dedicated video server product. So we designed the system with its own sort of interface as an embedded Linux system, its own built-in storage so that you don't have to have a separate storage component. So, potentially hundreds of hours of both SD or HD material can be ingested and stored on the video server. And they work as NAS storage, so you can connect your edit clients directly to it. So it was designed to be, and this is a phrase that one of my customers used the other day with me, a Swiss Army knife. It's more than just a video server. It's a simple VTR replacement. It's a storage device. It can do transcoding, graphics. It's a whole gamut of different solutions for a studio or broadcaster or post-production customer. And then from that product range, which we've been shipping for, as I said, about 2 years, and it's been really well received, we started to progress the products towards the production suite, which is what you're using.
Yes.
And essentially, it's taking the same core technology. It uses the video service as the base, so the same Linux systems. They're in terms of the video server, they're available at 2 or 4 channel units, and they're bidirectional, unlike a lot of other systems. So you can switch from an input to an output instantly. Right. And they're also very intuitive because they're designed with a sort of VTR interface. So it's drag and drop. You can simply drag a file into a video port, press play. Do the same, hit the switch button, it'll take it to recorder, hit the record button. Exactly the way the VTR would work. You can use a controller, etc. And what we wanted to do is to extend that sort of functionality with some of the advanced things we know to the video server. So, for example, the ability to do time shift recording and playout. Right. The ability to do CG, which is something we added to the video server in the last 6 or 8 months, and extend that into a complete broadcast solution, a complete studio solution. So the production suite builds on that. It takes live camera inputs like the cameras we've got here in the studio. It syncs in with tally, so you can control which camera you're using as you would do on a standard sort of switcher. But it takes that switching function to another level. So the production suite is your still store. It's your video store. It's your ingest recorder. It's your playout device. It's your video switching, your audio switching. It's got automation built into it, so you can switch from a live content like we're using today to a pre-recorded material and automate it so that it controls the routing, takes the mics down in the studio, brings the audio up on the video clip, essentially taking the functions of 5 or 6 people in a gallery into potentially one person. But as we were developing the product, we also found that there was a niche where people want to take the gallery function, which is a fairly complicated process, and reduce the number of people doing it. Principally because that's quite an expensive process. You need a lot of people to do it. You need a lot of very high-end expensive equipment. So if you can get one unit that does it, that brings your costs down, both in terms of your investment in infrastructure, but also your staffing. But there's actually a market that wants something that needs a lot of staff, and that's the education market. So there are other solutions that can do some of the things that we can do, but essentially they are solely based in one box. Right. And the problem with that is that if you're a university or a school or a college, your problem isn't resources in terms of staff. You've got 30 students and they all want a job in the show, and they all need to learn the skills that they need in the gallery. So we've taken the production suite a step further. So beyond the sort of standard remit of what a simple system would do, and you can spin out the control module. So you can have a client running the CG, a client running the audio mixer, a client running the video mixing, and you can have a control surface. So you can have an audio fader, for example. So someone can do the real function with a tactile control surface, as they would do if they were using, a dedicated audio mixer in a studio. So from an education perspective, given the price point, and it's probably worth mentioning that the video servers, the 2-channel units start from less than £6,000.
Right. So
they're designed to be, very cost-effective initial purchase price, and you just add the features you want. If you want an LC timecode, there's an option for it.
Yeah.
If you want the ability to do CG, there's an option for it. You don't pay for it unless you need it. Same's true of the production suite. Again, it starts at £22,000. That gives you your full still store, clip store, ingest, play out, mixing, all the things you'd expect are in that bundle. And then there's expansion options for more channels, greater level of storage, all that kind of thing. But you can, as I said, take those functions out. So whereas you might have been looking at spending £40,000 or £50,000 on all the individual components, you still buy one unit, or you then run a local client connections on fairly cheap standard PCs with the control surface. And for a fairly small investment, you've got a complete studio.
Amazing. Now, we're fortunate enough to have one in the studio.
Yep.
If people want to see these, where are they going to be able to have a look and see?
Sure, it's a good point. So we've been shipping the video server for some time now. We've got a number of different sort of broadcasters, production companies, etc. In terms of the production suite, it's actually a beta product.
Yep.
So you're one of a fairly small select group of beta customers that are testing it for us. Yep. Officially announcing at IBC. Very keen to speak to anyone who's looking for a system like that, but also still looking for a couple more beta testers. So if there's anyone who's looking for a complete studio solution, would be very interested in them getting in contact with us, because the only way we can develop these products to be everything that everyone wants them to be is by getting input, getting customers to use them in anger. One of our problems so far is that people who've got using them haven't been running into the issues that we were expecting, so they're not pushing the envelope as much as perhaps we'd like. So definitely keen to hear from people that would like to look at the products. And
from our point of view, it's certainly benefiting us. The response from you guys for development on the product, as and when something crops up, it's boom, it's in, it's installed. So the flexibility of the product is amazing. As you say, it's still a beta product yet. At the moment, things are getting put in and new features. We've asked, can it do this? And then, no problem. It's done.
It's one of the things for us. We're a British company. 95% of our development team is based here in the UK. So we're often presented with customers saying, this is amazing. I get back to the Swiss Army knife analogy. The video server is an ingest and playout system. It's got a NAS storage built in, you can edit from it. You can do CG, you can do subclipping, you can do transcoding, you can bring a file in from an iPhone which won't be accepted by a video editing application. Put it on the video server. The video server will play it out. You can mark in and out points and schedule it if you wanted to. But you could also transcode it. You said, well, actually, I need a ProRes copy because I'm on Final Cut, or I need a DNX copy, I'm on Avid, or I need XD Cam. The video server will do that transcode. So it's more than that. And that's all born out of customers coming to us and saying, it would be amazing if you could do this. And, we will genuinely go back and look at the case and see if it's possible and take it back to the customer. If we can, we'll have that feature.
Brilliant, Paddy. Thank you. Now, as you say, you're keen to hear from people interested in the whole production suite. What's the best way for them to contact you?
Best thing to do is either to email us, which is just sales@autocue.com, or go on the website. If you're interested in the video server or the production suite, there's not so much data on the production suite, because obviously it's not a fully released product yet. But there's loads of videos on how the video server works, how you can use it in a studio workflow, a post workflow, or an OB or a replay type environment. So that's a great place to start. But as I said, you can email us at sales@autocue.com. We're more than happy to answer any queries people have.
Brilliant, Paddy. Thank you very much. And we do appreciate the fact that we've got it in here. It's working beautifully at the moment and has saved our bacon on many times. And
glad to hear it.
This is working great. You've heard from Paddy about where you can get in contact.